The MLB offseason got kicked off on a very hot start on the morning of Halloween. The day after the World Series ended, the Braves and the Angels made a swap Jorge Soler for Griffin Canning. Soler goes to an Angels team that just maybe wants a little bit more offensive thump. Don't know how it really fits in with Mike Trout likely needing to be DH a decent amount of time there, but hey, if they add some thump into that lineup, maybe it is good for them in the long term. Obviously, it's something that the Braves probably don't need going forward, and something that they do need: controllable starting pitching, Griffin Canning, rotational depth as Max Fried and Charlie Morton enter free agency as noted in this MLB.com news, MLB, whatever. Like, it's just a running thread of news and signings and trades and everything like that in between. It says Canning gives the Braves some rotation depth on the same day they saw Max Fried and Charlie Morton enter free agency. It also goes on to note how clearing up Soler's money off of their payroll could allow them to re-sign one of them as well going forward. But this is not the news that we're all really kind of latching onto on November 2nd here. Similar to the big news that dropped this morning, but it was a day before, Blake Snell opts out of his contract with the Giants, something that we kind of all saw coming. Probably will get a bigger payday, a longer contract, a longer payday this offseason. Maybe it's not going to be for as much money in the short, like interim, like per annual average. Obviously, it's just he wants a more sustainable contract to look forward to. And the Giants, were they really going to contend? I feel like Blake Snell probably wants to be on a contender, so this opt-out does not surprise anybody. The one that I think is kind of resonating with a lot of MLB fans around the league is that another 2023 Cy Young Award winner, Gerrit Cole, opted out of his contract with the Yankees. Now, of course, they can retain him. It says, however, the team can avoid the opt-out and prevent Cole from reaching free agency by adding a one-year extension worth $36 million to his pre-existing deal, which had 4 years and $144 million remaining. Cole will be entering his age 34 season next year, and it was an up and down year. Whether or not he was going to be fully back, fully healthy. He only made 17 of the normal 33 starts a guy like Gerrit Cole normally would make, obviously coming off some injury in the offseason, trying to get fully back healthy. And in those 17 starts, he put up a 3.41 ERA over 95 innings. It wasn't vintage Cole. It wasn't Cy Young Award winning Gerrit Cole there like he was in the previous season. So this is an interesting opt-out. It's kind of putting the ball in the Yankees' court, whether or not they want to pay him that much money or they think he will be worth that much money going forward. I don't know if maybe some sort of souring is happening with how the World Series ended. I hope not. That would be, I think, a very knee-jerk reaction, but maybe that's something that Yankees fans want to see. So let me know if you guys think that, and if you are a Yankees fan, let us know if you think that they should buy in and void that opt out and add another year onto Cole's contract, or should they go out somewhere else in the free agency market and try and bring someone else in, maybe a bit younger, maybe just as good as Gerrit Cole, and maybe could be better than him for the next couple of years, since Cole will be entering his age 34 season. Like I mentioned, maybe he is on the decline, but we've seen how the top end starting pitchers really can pitch very well into their late 30s, thinking about Max Scherzer, thinking about Justin Verlander, thinking about even Zach Greinke, Clayton Kershaw. Sure, those are the guys like at the upper echelon. Is Cole really with them? He could be, but this is a very interesting opt-out that we learned this morning on November 2nd. Wasn't necessarily as surprising. The Yankees declined Anthony Rizzo's option. Both sides of that very famous play in that fifth inning had some very interesting option declines happen on November 2nd. The first base hole, I think, for the Yankees can be solved with a Christian Walker, maybe an Anthony Santander this offseason. I don't know if they go as high as Pete Alonso, but it really depends on what they do with Cole, and I think what they do if they are able to re-sign Juan Soto. I think that they shouldn't just roll with what they have in-house. That doesn't make any sense. Like, talking about DJ LeMahieu and Ben Rice are among the Yankees' internal options to play first. It's tough to say because they've got two holes, mainly, I think, on both corners, third base and first base, because I don't know if they want Jazz playing third because they can move him around. If Glaber's gone, he can move back to second. There's a lot of moving parts with the Yankees. I think things will kind of iron out as more information is found here, but as noted here, this is a strong year for free agent first baseman. Pete Alonso, Christian Walker at the top. Goldschmidt maybe not quite on their same plane as well anymore. Carlos Santana, Josh Bell, Justin Turner. Mariners fans know Justin Turner is available as well. Don't know how much maybe he'd be interested in going playing with the Yankees, having to shave that big beard off. But it's going to be an interesting offseason for the Yankees, and it's an interesting November 2nd for the Yankees as well. Something not listed on that article, but Colin Ray was placed on waivers by the Milwaukee Brewers, a guy who made plenty of starts last season, put up a decent amount of innings. Like, he made 27 starts, pitched in 32 games, 167 and 2/3 innings pitched, pretty much just like the standard innings eater kind of personnel that a lot of teams could need. Sure, it wasn't perfect, a 98 ERA plus in 2024 to a 4.29 ERA. It wasn't amazing in Milwaukee for Colin Ray, but he's only going to be making about $5.5 million next year as far as his arbitration is concerned. So the Brewers cutting costs here is kind of interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if a team, say like the Mets, take a chance on him to maybe backfill the rotation, because Shawn Manaea is likely opting out of his deal. Manaea had a great season for the Mets in a kind of like a proven deal, like a proven contract kind of situation. Says the decision should come as no surprise after Manaea rejuvenated his career with New York this past season, pitching to a 3.47 ERA, down from 4.73 across 2022 and 2023, with 184 Ks over a career high at 181 and 2/3 innings. This felt like what we all knew Shawn Manaea could be when he was back with Oakland way back when. This felt like something that when we saw it happen live, like we were witnessing Shawn Manaea turn in a great season. Him staying with the Mets, not very likely given how much money he could probably make himself in the open market. He will be 33 next season, so it's not going to be like a huge bump, I would say, compared to the $14 million that he's opting out of, but it's another 3 years probably with a decent bump. It's not, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get upwards of like 22 million or something like that, but I could see some team giving him like a 3-year, $60 million contract that are like super, super desperate for pitching. The issue is like what team is really out there. It might just very well be the Mets again, but like I mentioned, if they wanted to, they could just claim Colin Ray for $5.5 million and trying to piece together the rotation, but they will be looking for a ton of starting pitchers this offseason. As noted here, the Mets are seeking multiple, with Manaea, Severino, and Quintana all hitting free agency. Those were the main 3 starters for them. But yes, they've got David Peterson. They've got McGill. Like, there's options within the Mets organization. It's just how can they backfill it and how can they really fill out that rotation. I think bringing in Colin Ray, claiming him from the Brewers, if they happen to be the top team that does it, makes a lot of sense for them. And then they could sign someone in free agency. I don't know if they go as high as Corbin Burns, but again, bringing back Shawn Manaea might not be a bad idea for them. But I just wanted to hop on here and give a quick little update on November 2nd because it was some pretty big news this morning. Gerrit Cole opting out is kind of crazy. The fact that the Yankees can void it with adding an additional year on top of his contract. Just big news around baseball as the offseason is just getting started. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for a full offseason of all around MLB coverage. Appreciate you guys watching, and go baseball.